Hello, Lexington. If there was ever anyone in entertainment that didn't need an introduction but deserved every accolade and every bit of praise that you could heap upon her, it would be the lady who is about to come out and come up on the stage before you. Everyone knows that she emerged from a bottle on September 18, 1965, in a puff of smoke, and captivated America and continued to do so for over 55 years since. But that is only a small fraction of the magic that is the eternally beautiful, wonderfully gracious, and magnificently classy. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and get a round of applause to Miss Barbara Eden. Barbara, how are you enjoying Lexington?
Very much, thank you.
Well, a lot of people have asked me, as her social media manager and often travel companion for various things, what is it like to be around Barbara Eden, both in public and out of public? And I have always said it is magic. Because Barbara has embodied everything you can imagine, from joy and happiness to magic and excitement. And this is your opportunity to speak with her, ask her the questions that you have been wanting to ask as long as you can remember. And she is here to indulge your questions and to enlighten you and give you a look inside everything that has been her career in her life. So without any further ado, I would like to open up the panel, the floor, to those who may have questions. If you have one, do we have a microphone out here that can be used so Miss Eden can hear? Okay, well, let's just come over here. We'll come over here to the side, and you have a question here.
Do you want me to say it from here? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Eden, when you filmed Flaming Star with Elvis Presley, did you hang out with him behind the scenes or sing with him or anything while you worked with him?
Oh my goodness, yes. Actually, let's stand up. When you film, especially a big picture like that, you're there many, many weeks. And there's a lot of time is spent putting the lights up and rehearsing. So yes, and I spent a lot of time with all those lights, just a delight.
Awesome.
He had his guitar with him, and his daddy. But, you know, we'd sit and he'd just be picking. Also, he called him his cousin, and I believed him. And then later, I was in the middle of a radio interview, and they had this man, I don't remember his name, on the phone from Tennessee, and I said, "Oh, you were his cousin," and he said, "Oh, you fell for that, didn't you?" I thought it was his cousin. It was his father. His father was there. But he would, yes, he'd sing.
Yes, ma'am.
And they both sang. He loved his music. He loved his music. And he was also, he cared about what he was doing. He cared about the fact that he had never done a serious role on film. And this was a very heavy, he played a half-breed, he didn't get the girl, he died, you know. So it wasn't anything he'd ever done before. And he was so good. He was so good at it. But he cared, and that was the most important thing. You know, as an actor, you have to, a lot of people don't care, and you can tell when you see them perform. But when you really care and you do your job, it's a beautiful thing. And he was the beautiful thing.
A lot of people have brought up and remembered and mentioned your appearance on I Love Lucy. And you relegated a story where Lucy cared so much about the quality of her show that she approached you about your costume that you had to wear and asked you if you liked it. You like that dress? Tell everyone a little bit about that moment where Lucy came to you and asked you about the dress.
Boy, and I will. He's told the story. I mean, no, it was the I Love Lucy show was about the third job I had in Hollywood, and I had a very, very tight dress on, and I had worked the week before with another very well-known female star who I adored until I worked with her. Yeah, I was shocked. I was just so shocked. I was very young too, you know. And when I came on the set, she came walking out, walked right up to me, looked at me, looked down, looked up, turned around, and walked back to her dressing room. And then she and her maid, the maid was in back of her walking. And needless to say, she wasn't very nice. She was not happy that I was there before I even opened my mouth. So when I came on the set with Lucy, I thought, okay, you're just gonna take 10 deep breaths and do your job and rise above it, as my mother used to say. But Lucy couldn't have been more beautifully wonderful, kind, fun to work with. And again, she cared about what she did. But I was walking by her dressing room and she said, "Barbara, come here. And I did, and she said, "Do you like that dress?" And I said, "Yeah, oh, it's fine." I wouldn't say anything wasn't right. It's good, it's wonderful. She said, "Take it off." And I thought, oh boy, here we go. Because the other woman sat there and put the I don't know what you call them, they put the sparkles on the gowns, you know, with the machine. And she spent a couple of hours just making my dress look better.
Oh.
Now that is a class act.
Mm-hmm.
She's a lovely, lovely woman. I'll never forget her.
Mm.
The question, right, gentleman in the hat with the leather jacket.
Yes, Barbara. One of my favorites, Andy Griffith show, is when you go on there and you're a manicurist. Can you
Yes.
talk about that and your experience and what it was like to be around that cast?
Oh, it was wonderful. They were wonderful. All those little old men. And they were so cute. They were exactly as they were on the show. They just, and Andy at the beginning was very laid back. Very, you know, he wasn't open and easy. It took time, but we got along really well and worked well. Once we started working, he was great. It was terrific.
And with Don Knotts, what was that like?
Yeah, oh, Don. Later, I did a play with Don, Last of the Red Hot Lovers. And we toured for about 8 weeks in that play. That was years later. But Don was, what you saw was what you got with Don. He was exactly like that. A cutie. As a matter of fact, yeah, it was great because all the people there. Where is the little town that we
Mount Airy.
Mount Airy? Is that in West Virginia?
No, that's North Carolina.
Well, then it was North Carolina. That's where we were. It was fun.
Next question, gentleman here.
Yes, Genie's dog, uniform hanging dog, Ginger, was that your real dog?
No. The one on the show, no. But later, I had a dog I named Ginger. Yeah, I did Ginger for 12 years. I loved him. He was cute.
Another question. Lady back here with the glasses.
Miss Eden, did you enjoy playing like the straight-laced, kind of sassy Genie better, or did you like playing the one who always got in trouble, or the instigator?
You,
The evil sister. Would you
Oh, the
like
evil.
better, Genie or Genie 2?
Well, darling.
That's our answer right there.
Depends upon who you talk to. You like that little twit, it's fun. I love doing both. I like doing both, it was fun.
Next question, in the very, very back with your hand up.
How was it working with the cast on Dallas?
How was it working with the cast on Dallas?
Oh, the cast on Dallas. That was interesting because I hadn't worked with Larry for years when I did that shot. And the cast was wonderful. Right now, it was wonderful. But Larry and I, it was the very first shot I did. First of all, they put me in a pink suit. And then in an elevator. And the elevator doors opened, and I walked out, and Larry was out in the hallway in the park. What was he? JR, that's right, JR. Forgot his initials. He's always my master. I didn't. But I came out, and Larry said, "Oh my God, it's back." But we did, it was fun. He was such a good actor. We were always on the same plane, you know, it was good.
Let's take another question right here.
Missy, when you started with I Dream of Jeannie, it was in black and white, and then it went to color. What were the differences that had to be made between the black and white and the color?
Actually, for an actor, there are no differences. We don't know we don't know color. You know? But okay, the reason it was in black and white for the first 10 weeks was because I was pregnant, and I had my baby the first year of I Dream of Jeannie. Actually, I looked like a walking tent. They put so many scars, and then once they decided I wasn't going to die, so I was going to have a baby, they switched over to color. Yeah.
Gentleman with the glasses there.
I just want to first say, on behalf of the United States military, that we thank you for your service to the country. I never had the honor of seeing any of your USO shows, but I have met many people who have. And so I'm here to represent them to just say personally, we deeply appreciate your service to our country, and we consider you the best ambassador for recruitment we have ever had.
Well, you know, I was very lucky to know Bob Hope.
Oh.
He was the man, boy. Bob, he was, I went with him to the Persian Gulf on the big aircraft carriers, you know, and things. He really cared about what he did, again, like Elvis. He cared about what he did. When we were rehearsing to do that show, I was sitting next to one of the cameramen. And of course, when you do those shows, you don't get paid. You don't expect to get paid. You're just doing it because you love them. And none of the crew, even the union guys, they were not reimbursed for being there. They were there because they cared. And he looked at me and said, "You know why I'm doing this, don't you?" And I said, No, I don't. He said, "Well, I was in Vietnam." He said, "This is the only man who came behind the lines and entertained us." The only man was Bob Hope. And it was because of Bob Hope that I even went on the USO show. So God bless him.
Let's take another question. Right here.
Hi. I was just wondering, when you take the I Dream of Jeannie episodes, do you watch them today on television?
Do I watch them,
Yeah.
or did I?
Yeah, both.
Well, when when we were filming, I didn't have time to watch them. Because, you know, you get up at 5 in the morning and get to the studio at 6 and do your makeup and get your body makeup. And it's, then you're home by 6, then you're studying your lines till about 9 or 10, you go to bed, and you don't watch television. I have seen all of them now. Yeah.
I just have
Happy memories.
add another quick question to that. You wore so many beautiful gowns and outfits. Did you get to keep any of that after you were done filming the show?
I probably could have. I didn't. They did not let me have my Genie outfit. They did. They said, no, she may not take it. So, because that's the only thing I really wanted. I did get it later because I did a commercial for the automobile. Huh? The what? No. Oh, Lexus. I thought you said electric.
No.
Yeah, the Lexus, that's right. And they copied it and gave it to me. So I do have one. As a matter of fact, I had to wear it, which is scary. Tell boy in Vienna for the Life Ball. And that's the last, I will never put it on again. Because again, I remembered my mother, rise above it. It was on, but just pretend. And it was wonderful. That was the Life Ball in Austria.
You can take another question? In the Genie costume right here.
Oh!
Of all the episodes that you filmed, which was your favorite?
The pilot.
The pilot.
Yeah, the pilot, yeah. It started off everything. Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that the pilot was filmed in December of 1964 on that beach. Imagine being on the beach in December of 1964 in a harem costume.
It was cold. It was very cold.
It was good. Back here with the sling, right there.
Oh yes, and was there any real reason why the show was set it around NASA?
Any specific reason why
Any reason why Major Nelson was an astronaut? Or was it?
Oh, why was that at NASA?
Yeah.
Because that's the story. He was a.
Well, the creative logic is what I mean.
Oh, what was the creative logic? That would have been his question for the late great Sidney Sheldon. He could have answered that question best. NASA was a massively popular, the space race was huge. It was cutting edge technology, and having a straight-laced astronaut be, some would say cursed, some would say blessed, with a mischievous genie who did what she wanted to was hilarious comedy for the time period. Let's get another question. How about back there with the glasses?
I can read they had tons of special effects and everything for the time. Do you have any special effect that was particularly memorable and that you enjoyed that they did during shooting? This was all the magic.
Special effects that I what?
That you enjoyed the most.
Well, there were, I don't know, there were so many. Like the big telephone or the being shut up in a safe. I guess the funniest and scariest was my mother was down on the set as a guest. And, you know, my show was not anything life-threatening at all. But this particular show that she was watching, that being filmed, I was in the safe. Remember, I was in the safe for I don't know how long. And the audience had to find out why and how I could get out. But in order to show me inside the safe, they put me in it, in this big box, and then they'd shake it. In that safe was a big bottle of aspirin, and I don't know what, a whole bunch of things. I just remember the aspirin because they pushed it and it hit me in the side of the head, and I was out for a couple of minutes, and my poor mommy was over the side You know, there's her daughter out cold, playing a genie. But we had a lot of fun with the special effects, yeah.
Let's get a question over on this side, right there, your hand.
Yes, I have a question. You were actually on the air at the same time as Bewitched. So was there any healthy competition that you remember from that time period in that show?
No, not at all. In fact, we shot at the same studio. And I'd see her in the morning in the makeup. But, you know, a witch and a genie are two entirely different. They are. They really are. A genie is not a housewife. A genie's an entity, which means she can really be anything if she wants to be. And it's a classic theme. As is a witch, is also a classic theme, but a different one. Magic is magic, I guess, but they're different. Personality is different. Venue to work in, you know.
And in reference to that, I took 2 seconds to paint a mental picture. Imagine seeing Barbara Eden as Genie sitting in the makeup chair. Next to her is Sally Field, sitting there in the makeup chair as the Flying Nun. Next to her is Elizabeth Montgomery, sitting there as Samantha Stevens. So you can imagine the mental image of these three iconic ladies all sitting together, going to their own sets to do their own shows. Let's get another question. How about yes, sir, you?
Thank you, Ms. Eden, for being here. In the 60s, obviously, a lot of conflict in time around women's rights and playing a genie who referred to the master, but you were often mischievous. How did you understand your own role there within the 60s in terms of women's rights and the figure you were portraying?
Well, first of all, she was an entity. She wasn't a female, real girl. She was different. She was different. She could be smoke in the desert, you know. She could be a tree. So it really had nothing to do with females' rights. And referring to her master as her master, that was her job. That's all. It was just her job. And let's face it, she was the one in control. She loved him. It's always for him, but she did what she wanted to.
Larry Hagman, if he were here, had been asked that question in the past, and he said, we weren't trying to push any underlying meaning. We were just trying to get a laugh and have fun doing it. There was no extra meaning there, and he thought it was a great time. Let's get another question. Back there in the back with your hand up, sir.
Thank you. So I was just wondering if she's thought about doing any more acting.
Have you thought about doing any more acting?
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed. I tour with a couple of shows, actually. One is Out of the Ball, Barbara Eden, on the magic carpet with Barbara Eden. And the other one, of course, I don't know now. I'll be doing it because she passed away. Yeah.
Miss Eden has 2 different retrospective shows where it's a evening with Barbara Eden, and you would sit there and watch as she relegated stories and accompanied with slides and film clips.
That's on the magic carpet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but she's always looking and open for more work. Another question, sir, you.
Yes. So through your long career, what are some of the challenges that you face, whether it be early in your career, as you're developing through Hollywood, or even later in your career, where you have your roles that you're known for?
What are the challenges?
Yeah, what are some of the struggles that you may have gone through?
Well, the struggles really, for me, were at the beginning, because I was raised in San Francisco. I knew no one in Los Angeles. I was a member of Actors Equity. I studied at the Conservatory of Music. I was a singer. I had also studied theater. I'd worked a lot around the Bay Area all during high school and my brief 2 years of college. But when I came down to LA, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know a soul. I had an aunt and uncle who were in San Marino, and I was able to stay with them for a while. But then I didn't know how to drive. You know, Los Angeles, you better know how to drive or have a car, and I didn't. So that was my first hurdle. I had to get an old car and learn how to drive it. And then I did make a connection. I've forgotten how I did it. I think it was someone in San Francisco knew her to get me in the Hollywood Studio Club, which was my lifesaver because that really got me in the like the river of acting and people and girls who were working. I didn't realize that when you're a member of one of the actors' unions, you can get your SAG card immediately. I didn't know that. And I had my Actors Equity card. They never asked me about that. They asked me about my SAG card. And of course I wasn't an SAG member. So it took me a while to get started. And one of my first interviews was at Warner Brothers. And this is before I could drive. And my uncle drove me over there for the interview. And the man talked to me. He was head of casting at Warner's. And he said, look, honey, he said, go back to San Francisco, marry the guy at home. He said, you know, you're a sweet little girl, you're kind of pretty, but you're not Hollywood material. Yeah, go home. So I went out to my uncle. He was ready to go back in and smack him. And I thought, what am I gonna do? And I got back to their house and I sat there and I thought, you know, he really didn't ask me what I'd done, what my background was, what my background in theater. I'd done a lot of theater. And besides that, does everybody have to look the same? We come in all colors and all sizes and shapes. What is this? I'm not Hollywood type. So I stayed, but that was a killer. That was, you know, when you're 20 years old and someone says you're not pretty enough. Oh, and he showed me a picture of his daughter. And he said, this is what they want, honey. Big. I won't even say the word. But the men in my family didn't do that. And I thought, gosh, he's talking about his own daughter, you know, and good grief. So, but later on, there were really no big hurdles. You know, it was just steady.
You never struggled to break out of any, you know, stereotypes or roles that you felt like constrained in? You're able to always pursue whatever role you may want to.
Yeah. You know, actors act. You rarely say no. You say, oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh yeah, I can ride a horse.
Tell them about that horse.
Oh yeah, I can.
With Elvis.
Yeah.
You want to tell them a little bit about that horse going up the hill?
Oh, you mean
Flaming Star.
Oh, that was Flaming Star with Elvis, yeah. Well, they brought me out to the, wherever they were shooting, to be friends with the horse. And I was fine. You know, the wranglers all took me out with the horse and it was great going on flat ground. And it was, I thought, well, this is a piece of cake. This will be just fine. And then the end of the show, I don't know if you've seen that film, but at the end of the show, Steve Forrest is up at the top of the mountain. Elvis is dead. And I ride the horse up this mountain to Steve at the top. And they put me on the horse, got me in position, and I looked and I said, that's an irrigation ditch. And they said, yeah. I said, well, how do I get over that? The horse knows what to do. Okay, all right, that's just fine. But so the director said action, and then the wrangler hit the horse in the butt, and the horse took off, which they'd never done when they were showing me how to do it. Jumped over the irrigation ditch. I'm hanging on for dear life, going up the mountain, and there's a tree with a big limb out there. And then I hear Barbara, duck, duck! And I ducked and got up. I was so shaken. I got off the horse and took 12 deep breaths. The wranglers put me back up on the horse, and they said they had to do it again. Then you have to go down the hill. Now, I know if you ride a horse, it's okay. You all know what to do. I didn't know what to do. They hadn't taken me up and down a hill. And here it is, I'm looking over the top of the horse, going down the... Oh, it was the most frightening thing. But I did know how to jump over an irrigation ditch. I found out going back up, and I knew, look out for the tree. Yeah, that was... Talk about challenges, yes. That was a hurdle.
We got time for about one more question right here, ma'am, the blonde.
Oh, How to Marry a Millionaire. Oh, God bless you. Yeah, that was the first thing I did at Fox Studios. And I didn't even know that I was doing it. I was under contract at Fox. And they said, we'd like you to go and take some publicity shots with these two other girls. And I said, okay. So I went over, and they were taking the pictures of the three of us. And I found out it was for a TV show. And I said, oh, that's terrific, that's nice. And then one of the men that was there said, well, you're doing it, don't you? I hadn't a clue. No one had told me anything. But I was so happy they did. That was fun. I enjoyed playing Loco Jones. She was fun.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for coming here to see Miss Eden. And, these moments are one of her favorite moments, is the interaction with you, her fans, because I can tell you, as someone who knows her personally, she adores her fans like no other, because you are what keep the magic alive. So thank you so much for coming out to see Miss Eden. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you